So I've charged that unit in, and I dodged them around the stakes, and I've sent this unit that was... I sent it around the stakes to take out the skirmishers, and I've just basically suicided them, but that doesn't really matter. And now this unit's taken on both of the cannon units, and Chris getting a final explosion. And at this point we're both pretty happy that we've taken out their artillery. On quickly moving to my middle, I have now my skirmishers opening fire on their Prussian Fusiliers, which are advancing pretty stupidly into my fire. And I've now got my line infantry firing on them, so it's a massacre. Now if we move to the left flank and centre, there's quite a lot of activity going on. Do you want to explain what's been happening, Paul?
Basically, I've moved up my light to start shooting at is 6-inch howitzers, but sadly I got intercepted by a unit, the Polish Legion, who quite stupidly charged me. Where they're a much better shooting unit than hand-to-hand combat. So I've countered this by moving in a Highland foot and moving up a foot unit to shoot at them.
But I just see that your dragoons have charged their howitzers.
Yeah, they're on the way. Yeah. Seeming as there is nothing left to defend them except for a unit of young guard which will soonly move out of its place.
Okay, so now what I'm trying to do here, I've turned the Austrians' flank and annihilated most of the force that he sent to try and stop my advance, and then the Prussian is sent round his right flank, and that's being massacred. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to try and move my whole army to the centre, forgetting about the Prussian force here. Because
if you look at the centre now, I'm sending in reinforcements to help Will's left flank. Because what we thought was that this Prussian doesn't like to move, and he seems pretty rubbish because he's firing canister from over here to my men over here. So we thought, let's just ignore him and go for the Austrian straight away. And this tactic actually worked, because as you can see here, his army's in kind of a mini disarray. He's moving in the wrong direction. He should have been following me and trying to fire some volleys into the back of my line infantry. It's sort of like he doesn't know what he's supposed to do here. He's sort of just drag and drop, and that's what we press hard. That's how we managed to take the right and centre.
So now the Prussian, well, there is one good thing he's done so far, but it's not good overall. He moved his cavalry behind the Austrian here, but he should have charged them in, because a good player would have noticed that my units had just fired, and he probably would have annihilated all my skirmishers on my right flank. So, a missed chance by him. So now Chris is moving up his light dragoons to my centre to support my guys, because if you've noticed, he's moved all his light infantry away from his main army, and we take the opportunity to quickly turn around and rush him, and it succeeds extremely well.
I think had he not done that, we could have, had he actually kept the units together, we could have seen a different outcome of this battle, because that's quite a big part of his army, which we quite easily took.
It was just a case of having a meat shield and then using the flanks to engulf him, and using your cavalry to massacre them. So now I'm rushing them up quickly. My 5 units of line infantry, some which are elite, some which are normal. As you can see, I'm getting pounded. I just lost 24 men in one volley in one unit, but that's what we need to take for this victory.
Look now, the cavalry is charging his light foot, and they run through your they run through your units, which sort of does down the charge. But you acted as a good meat shield for my cavalry, which is good.
But then you also did kill 20 of my men, so it balanced it out, but still.
It was a good sacrifice.
And then I've now got my King's German Legion in a flanking arc. That's not really an arc, it's an angle of 45 degrees. Firing on these Prussian Fusiliers, and we should see them in a bit of disarray in a minute. And he's now suiciding his general. That was a pretty good charge. But I think he does die.
But really, that was a bit of a dumb move, because that's what you do if you have no chance of victory. And,
okay, so
well,
Chris has now taken out this unit with his general and his...
no, that's your general.
Oh, that's my general, yeah, I forgot about that.
If I quickly draw your attention to the left flank, if you notice that he's just sent in 3 units of Polish legion into 1 unit, which you should never do. It just gives me a chance to flank him and just take many shots off onto his Swiss foot, loads of them, and it's just devastating to his numbers.
That's a really good point, actually. So always remember that. Especially for Shogun, I would say.
Yeah.
Because
At
archers...
this point in the battle... oh, there we go. General dead.
Okay, so his general
Oh,
died.
dead.
I've got 5 units left, and Chris and I charge in our cavalry and our general into these 2 units of artillery, and we're singing hallelujah.
If you look, his Prussian there are actually facing the wrong way, which was a bit of a cock-up, really, because he could have really destroyed our cavalry charges, but they were facing the wrong way, and it was a simple attack.
And now his cuirassiers, which charged 1 unit of Lightfoot, were in a kind of... well, it was a kill zone, basically, and routed about... I think it was... oh no, sorry, that hasn't come up yet. Was that... Chris, can you remember when I killed those 120 cuirassiers in a couple of seconds?
No, but
And
I remember
about
you were talking about it.
60
But
run
I'd
off
just
the
like to
field.
say, at this point in the battle, it was quite clear that it was going to be hard to lose, because if you look, I have quite a lot of units just stood there in front of my artillery.
Because I just left my Highland foot, which actually stopped the Austrians from advancing. Just took his mind off things.
But but Paul's general was just massacred there.
Unfortunately.
Which
With 1 unit escaping. 1 man escaping.
But unfortunately, your Highland foot, which charged their cannons, just got charged by their Marshal's Soul.
yeah.
Have they spelt Marshal wrong?
I have no
You
idea.
probably spelt it the French way.
Because there's one in the unit selection where it actually says Marshal, spelled the English way. Or is that in the Peninsula campaign? I can't remember. But anyway.
The Prussians charged your squares
Oh
on
yes.
the right flank.
By the way, have we
which
just
is-
lost Paul?
Yeah, my general just died as I think he charged him without me realising with
Oh,
his
here we go,
Polish-
here we go. Here's the Cuirassier massacre. So they charge into my 2 squares, I hold them, and then we have a kill zone going on, and there's 60 Cuirassiers running from the field, and 60 dead Cuirassiers lying behind.
If we go to the centre now, we can see my final troops finally beginning to march. This is to
aid me in my conquest.
See? Lazy buggers.
And
Sitting behind and watching when there's been a massive battle on the left flank.
and
This
the
is
thing
where
is,
we could decide who killed Marshal Soult, because he's in melee here, but he dies when my units fire. There, you see. I personally believe it was me who killed him.
but I still disagree and believe it was me. But this is a key moment, no, because you should always aid your teammates no matter what happens. It's key to victory, really.
This is a clear example of coming late to the battle. You see the left flank has been lost, not to Paul's mistake, because the Austrian was hammering his right flank, but if Chris had moved his line infantry earlier on, we probably wouldn't have the same result on the left flank. But because Chris and me worked together to take the right flank, you can see the result. I have my whole army, and Chris has his whole army.
Yeah,
So,
I think more the phenomenon is that Will didn't lose too many, because I was hardly in. A lot of my units weren't in the fight, whereas Will was always taking shots. And if you look foolishly, he's now marched his soldiers in front of mine, so he's getting massacred by mine.
but remember, I did remind you there, I was trying to be your meat shield.
That was a bogus story. He wasn't. He just couldn't be bothered to move his troops. He's a kill hogger. He just wanted the most kills.
And now I'm merely charging all my men. Well, not all my men, the majority of my men. And
Look at the Austrian general. He's actually being shot by Paul in the back.
Which he doesn't realise to the last minute, and he starts to move, and then he runs away.
so that is the battle. Yeah, and you can see how big our army is, and see how dead their army is. So, that was pretty good game. So, goodbye from Major General.
Bye from the Doctor.
Bye from General West.
So, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.